Tonight, I'm going in depth with one of the candidates vying to represent the new Coachella Valley district in Congress. At 29, Democrat Shrina Kurani would be one of the youngest members of Congress if elected, and she believes her scientific background as a mechanical engineer would serve her well in crafting federal climate policies. I spoke with her about why she's running and the issues that matter most to her. Shrina, first off, what made you decide to run for Congress?
My parents immigrated in the 80s and they came to the United States seeking opportunity. I was born and raised in Riverside and I grew up in my parents' small business and I watched them work 7 days a week. And I spent my summers and days after school doing my homework in the back room and playing amongst, the pool filters and pumps until I started helping myself, sweeping floors and testing water for chlorine and alkalinity. I graduated from UC Riverside as a mechanical engineer, and I've been focused on how to make things work better. With Ken Calvert's track record for the past 3 decades, he's consistently voted against the interests of our community. Even during the pandemic, he voted against the American Rescue Plan, which is set to bring $479 million to Riverside County. I'm running for Congress to bring my approach to making things work better to Washington, to put people first and create a sustainable future and build an America where people feel safe and healthy and have opportunities to succeed.
You have a really interesting background. I should mention that you graduated valedictorian from your high school at the age of 16.
Yep, that's right.
And then you went to Sweden?
I did. Yes, I got my master's in sustainability.
So for somebody who really was never involved in politics before, you're more of an engineer and entrepreneur. What made you decide to pursue politics?
Well, when we look at the issues that we're facing right here in the Inland Empire in Coachella Valley, it's inflation, it's cost of living, and it's eating at our paychecks, right? Gas prices are soaring, and when you add on the cost of living for things like the things that people need, like prescriptions, we have to address supply chain issues to lower inflation and reduce prices. Ken Calvert has been voting to cut Medicare and privatize Social Security, so we deserve a representative who will actually fight to protect them. Most importantly, especially with my background in sustainability, with the latest IPCC climate report that just came out, it's clear that in order to protect our future for future generations, for my future children and grandchildren, it requires us to vote out the biggest enemies to climate legislation in Congress. I'm, like you mentioned, an engineer and a sustainability scientist. And I've spent my career working to reduce waste and create quality jobs. And now I'm running for Congress to put the people of Riverside County first and actually develop a sustainable future. Look, Calvert has a 7% scorecard from the League of Conservation Voters, and he's consistently voted against the environment and is effectively leaving us uninsured for the future. We need experts who know how to act on climate, who are focused on solving problems. And I've worked to transition large industry right here in Southern California from fossil fuels to renewable energy. And we have the ability, the technology to cut emissions, to gain energy independence, and to boost our economy. And we need to do that now.
Shrina, what are some of the issues do you think that affects folks the most here in the Coachella Valley? And if elected, what would you do specifically to address those issues?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think ultimately what it comes down to is a lot of the things that I just talked about, right? We have the rising cost of living, we're facing inflation, and we need to make sure that we're actually looking at our supply chain and understanding how we can solve those issues to actually lower inflation and reduce those prices, right? When we talk about Medicare, when we talk about Social Security, we need to make sure that we have a champion who is actually going to fight to protect those things that are actually protecting our community right here in the area. And once again, it really just comes back to the environment. If we look at, increasing challenges that we're facing with disasters right here in the area, but also across the country, we need to make sure that we have a plan to actually tackle climate change.
And I also recently interviewed another Democrat who wants to run for Congress, Will Rollins. This is a pretty competitive race, not to mention Ken Calvert, obviously the incumbent. Why should voters specifically choose you, Shrina, versus some of the other candidates?
Right. Well, we're seeing incredible support from across the county and across the nation. Look, people are tired. They're looking for someone who's going to cut through the nonsense and focus on the facts and can actually get things done. I grew up in a Republican household. This district is now a 50-50 split, and I get that the fiscal issues and the business arguments. What I also know is that Ken Calvert has voted against supporting small businesses throughout the pandemic, which could have lost Riverside County businesses $36 million in funding. And it's clear that Calvert no longer represents the interests of the area. In terms of my background, I'm born and raised in Riverside, right off the 91, and I was raised to work hard. I've spent my career building companies to reduce waste and create quality jobs, and most recently have been building a platform to help underrepresented entrepreneurs get access to capital. We facilitated $2 million to small businesses right in the region, and over $500 million across the nation, including women and LGBTQ and veteran-owned businesses, which has been critical through the pandemic.
All right, Shrina, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.